Welcome to Duo Reads, where we decode deep ideas and break down big books one page at a time. Today, we're cracking open a book that, well, it really challenges the financial advice a lot of us grew up with. You know the drill, right? Study hard, good grades, get that high-paying job, great benefits, save for retirement. Sounds solid. Our parents definitely thought so.
Absolutely. And look, for a long time, that was the master plan. It worked for a generation, maybe more. But Robert Kiyosaki, the author we're looking at, he argues pretty strongly that the world's just changed dramatically. He talks about his own son noticing, hey, wait a minute, the really wealthy people, they didn't all follow that path. Think Michael Jordan, Madonna, even Bill Gates leaving Harvard. Their road to riches looked, well, totally different. The world moved on, but the advice kind of stayed put.
Yeah, and that leads to something pretty concerning, doesn't it? This gap in actual financial education in schools. We see young people getting credit cards, sometimes before they even finish high school, but they have basically zero clue how money really works. They don't get how compound interest, which we hear is amazing for building wealth, can actually work totally against you if it's debt compounding. It just traps them.
Exactly. It's a huge vulnerability. And that's the core issue Kiyosaki tackles. He says, look, people struggle financially not because they're lazy, but because they lack genuine financial literacy. It's not just balancing a checkbook. It's understanding how money operates, especially for the wealthy, and crucially, how to make it work for you, not the other way around. So that's our mission today, really, to unpack his ideas, which can be a bit controversial sometimes, but definitely make you think. See if we can get some clarity.
Okay, so if that traditional path often leads to struggle, even for people working really hard, is it like we're all caught in some kind of trap? Kiyosaki calls it the rat race. What exactly is that, and how does the advice we get seem to just steer us right into it?
Right, the rat race. It's his term for that really typical path. You get educated, land a secure job, start earning, and then almost immediately, the debt starts piling up. Credit cards, maybe a car loan, eventually the mortgage. Then maybe kids come along, you work harder, chase promotions, get raises. But here's the kicker. As your income goes up, so do your expenses. And your taxes, income tax, property tax, Social Security. It just keeps climbing. So you're constantly working, but Kiyosaki argues you're working mainly for your employer, the government, and the bank. It's like a hamster wheel. Running faster, but not really getting anywhere financially free.
That sounds, incredibly common. Almost like the default setting for adulthood for so many people. But if that's the norm, why isn't it working? And Kiyosaki says something really counterintuitive, that more money without the literacy part can actually make things worse. How does that work?
It does feel backwards, doesn't it? We always think more money, a problem solved. But his point is that money just magnifies your existing habits and flaws. If your pattern is to spend everything you earn, well, more money just means more spending. Often on things that actually dig you deeper into that hole, liabilities. Think about those lottery winner stories, right? Millions won and then they're broke again, sometimes worse off. The book gives this really stark example. A pro basketball player earned millions. By 29, he's working at a car wash, minimum wage, got fired because he wouldn't take off his championship ring, said it was all he had left. It's a powerful illustration that just having money isn't the answer. You need the know-how.
Wow. Yeah, that hits hard. It really feels like Kiyosaki is flipping the whole script on work and wealth. He says the rich play by different rules entirely. How does that contrast with what most of us learn about being an employee versus, say, an owner or an investor?
The contrast is huge, and it's fundamental to his argument. Generally speaking, he sees employees often ending up on the losing side financially. While owners and investors, they tend to win. It's not about morality, it's just how the system is structured, he argues. Owners benefit from things like automation, scaling up, consolidating labor, things that boost profits, stock prices. The employee gives their time, their best years, building someone else's asset, making the owner richer. The key difference boils down to control. Owners and investors control their financial destiny through assets and systems. Employees, they often give that control away.
Okay, so the usual path is this potential trap. What's the escape route? Rule number 1, you said.
Okay.
Know the difference between an asset and a liability, and buy assets. Sounds almost too simple.
It's meant to be simple. Kiyosaki really hammers this home. An asset. Something that puts money in my pocket. Simple as that. A liability. Something that takes money out of my pocket. That's it. He deliberately contrasts this with, complicated accounting definitions. He says adults often overcomplicate it because they've been taught differently, maybe by bankers or accountants. For him, it's not about words, it's about the numbers. What defines an asset is not words, but numbers. If you can't read your own financials, you can't tell the difference. You end up buying things you think are assets, but they just drain your cash.
Oh, okay, I get the simplicity angle. But yeah, the obvious question is, if it's that simple, why isn't everyone rich? And how do those cash flow patterns you mentioned earlier really show this difference in action?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? People aren't rich because they don't truly grasp this simple difference, or they mistake liabilities for assets. Kiyosaki draws these clear pictures of cash flow. For the poor, it's job income straight out to expenses, food, rent, basic needs. Usually no real assets or liabilities. The middle class. Job income comes in, but a big chunk goes to expenses like taxes, food, clothes, plus major liabilities. Mortgage, car payments, credit cards. They often buy that big house thinking it's their biggest asset, but it's constantly taking money out. It's a liability in his definition. The wealthy, though, they focus on acquiring assets first: stocks, bonds, income-producing real estate, intellectual property, things that generate income. That income from assets covers their expenses, which are often relatively low compared to their income stream. Money flows in from assets, not just from their job.
Right. So the aim isn't just earning more, it's changing the direction of that cash flow, which brings us to minding your own business. I admit, when I first heard that phrase, I thought it meant like quit your job, start a company. Is that it?
That's a super common take on it, but no, that's not quite what he means. Minding your own business isn't about ditching your profession. It's about actively focusing on building your asset column, separate from your job. He uses that great Ray Kroc story, the McDonald's guy. People thought he was in the hamburger business, but Kroc himself said, "My business is real estate." His profession was selling franchises, but his business, the thing making him truly wealthy, was owning the land under those McDonald's outlets. So, you keep your job, your profession, but you start deliberately buying or building assets that put money in your pocket, things separate from your paycheck. It's about building that independent financial base.
That really shifts how you think about wealth. For ages, I just thought it was about how much stuff someone had or their bank balance. But Kiyosaki seems to be redefining it completely, beyond just net worth.
Absolutely. It's a really important shift. He brings in Buckminster Fuller's definition, which is basically wealth is how many days you could survive if you stopped working today. So if I stopped working today, how long could I survive? It's not about the value of your stuff. Kiyosaki calls a lot of that expensive junk that costs you money anyway. It's about the cash flow from your assets compared to your monthly expenses. If your assets generate enough passive income to cover your living costs, then by this definition, you're wealthy. It's about survivability, autonomy, freedom, not just a big pile of stuff or a number on a statement. It's about being able to walk away from the job if you wanted to.
Okay, but even if people understand this, Kiyosaki says there are big reasons why they still don't build assets. He lists 5 main roadblocks. Let's dig into those because I bet they sound familiar to a lot of us.
Yeah, these are deep. First up is fear, simple fear of losing money. Kiyosaki's got that quote, "I've never met a rich person who hasn't lost money, but I've met a lot of poor people who've never lost a dime." His point is, winners often get inspired by losses, learn from them. Losers get defeated and just stop. It's about playing to win, not just playing not to lose. Like, remember the Alamo turning a loss into a motivator.
Right, reframing failure. What's next?
Cynicism. The chicken little thing, the sky's always falling. Doubt and fear make people criticize instead of analyze. He tells that story, the friend pulling out of a great real estate deal because his neighbor, who knew nothing about investing, said it was bad. Or you hear, "Oh, real estate, I don't want to fix toilets." It's cynicism, shutting down possibilities before you even look.
Okay, fear, cynicism.
Then laziness, but often disguised as being busy. People fill their lives with work or distractions to avoid facing the important, maybe uncomfortable financial stuff. The cure, he says provocatively, is a little greed. Not destructive greed, but that healthy desire for something better. Asking what's in it for me to get yourself motivated. That yearning for a better life pushes you.
Interesting. A little greed. Okay, number 4.
Bad habits. Our financial life really reflects our habits. And the most critical habit, pay yourself first. And he means really first. Put money into your asset column before you pay your bills, your creditors. He argues this creates pressure, good pressure. It forces you to be smarter, find ways to generate more income to cover everything else. It actually makes you financially stronger, more resourceful.
That takes discipline. And the last one.
Arrogance, which he calls ego plus ignorance. Being arrogant stops you from learning. He stresses humility. Listen more than you talk, 2 ears, 1 mouth, right? Be open to new ideas, even ones that clash with what you think you know. He mentions listening to Peter Lynch tapes over and over, even though he disagreed at first, just to understand. That humility opened the door to valuable insights.
Those 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely resonate. Fear, cynicism, laziness, bad habits, arrogance. So, okay, we understand the concepts, we see the roadblocks. What about action? For
Right.
someone listening now, maybe feeling that rat race pressure, what's the first actual step they could take? How do they start building that financial genius?
It can feel overwhelming, but Kiyosaki breaks it down into 10 steps. And it really begins with your mindset. First, find a reason greater than reality, a really deep emotional why. Maybe it's the want for freedom, travel, or the don't want of being stuck in a job you hate forever. That big why pulls you through tough times.
Okay, find your big motivation. Then what?
Second, make daily choices. Every dollar you touch, that's a choice. Choose assets over liabilities. Choose education over distractions. Conscious spending. Third, invest in education. Your mind is your #1 asset. Go to seminars, read books, listen to tapes or podcasts. He talks about a $385 real estate course that made him millions, not just in cash, but freedom. Practical knowledge pays.
Choose your friends carefully. That was another one.
Yeah, #4, choose friends carefully. Hang around people talking about money, deals, ideas. You learn by osmosis and learn what not to do from friends who are struggling. Fifth, master a formula, then learn a new one. Don't just learn one way to invest and stop. The world changes fast. Learn quickly, adapt, be intellectually agile. He himself shifted between investment types.
Okay, keep learning
Yeah.
and pay yourself first again.
Absolutely. #6, pay yourself first. Reinforce that crucial habit. Make it automatic. Seventh, pay your brokers well. Good accountants, attorneys, brokers, they're investments, not expenses. If they're good, they should make you more money than they cost. They're your team, your eyes and ears.
Right. Value good advice. What's this Indian giver one? Number 8.
Eighth, be an Indian giver.
Controversial,
Interesting
maybe.
stuff.
But the concept is get your initial investment capital back out of a deal as fast as possible. Like buy a rental, fix it up, rent it out, refinance, pull your original cash back out. Now the asset is paying you, essentially for free, and your capital is ready for the next deal. Risk reduction.
Ah, okay. Get your seed money back. Ninth.
Ninth, seek heroes. Find people who've done what you want to do, Buffett, Lynch, whoever inspires you. Study them, emulate them. It makes complex things seem achievable. Tap into their genius.
And finally, #10.
Teach and you shall receive. The more you sincerely try to teach someone else about this stuff, the more you learn. It forces you to clarify your own understanding. It reinforces the concepts.
Wow, okay. That's a lot to chew on. But those steps, they seem to demand real commitment, real action. What's the core message tying it all together, especially if money is just an idea? That is the core message. Money is fundamentally an idea. It's about changing your thinking, your financial programming. It's not about just working harder at your job. It's about learning how to make money work for you instead of you always working for money. Think about the contrast he always draws. His educated dad focused on climbing the ladder, specializing. His rich dad focused on learning a little about a lot, bringing smart people together, using corporations. It's shifting from that employee mindset, trading time for dollars, to an investor or owner mindset, controlling assets that generate income passively.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? We've covered a ton today, the rat race, assets versus liabilities. This isn't just theory, is it? It feels like a potential blueprint for a totally different financial life.
Yeah, connecting it all. The real power isn't just in making money, it's in keeping it and then making it grow, multiply. It's about building that strong financial foundation, ideally early, so you have choices, freedom, options later on. Kiyosaki talks about turning $5,000 into $1 million in 6 years, but he emphasizes, hey, I started learning this as a kid. The earlier you start building that financial IQ, the more powerful that compounding becomes over time.
Which leaves us all with a really important question, doesn't it? What will you choose to do with your dollars today? Will they just disappear on stuff? Will they go into liabilities that drain you? Or will you choose to invest? Invest in your mind and invest in acquiring actual assets.
Yeah, the choice really is yours. By learning to be the master of money, not its slave, you can actually prepare yourself, prepare your family for whatever the future holds. You can secure your financial future on your own terms.
Thank you for joining us for this really thought-provoking discussion on Duo Reads. We genuinely hope it's given you plenty to think about and maybe inspired you to take that next step toward your own financial freedom.